Mrs. Dawn Cappello is the newest school counselor at Lenape High School. She started on December 23rd after Mr. William Slocum retired. This is such an interesting story, as Mrs. Cappello had Mr. Slocum when she was a student here at Lenape. Mrs. Cappello graduated from Lenape in 1997. She earned her bachelor's degree from Rider University and later a master's in mental health therapy from the University of Pennsylvania. When looking for a new career opportunity, Mrs. Cappello was thrilled to learn about the counseling position at Lenape.
Initially, when I went to school, I went for teaching. Working with kids is something that most people are just inclined to do. Like, you have a passion, you have a pull towards it. And the more that I worked with my students, the more that I found that I was really interested in the field of counseling and finding ways to help them solve their own problems and gain insight into their own lives. So as I examined my desire to be able to help them in this way, I decided that I would return to graduate school and become a school counselor.
Mrs. Cappello is very happy about the circumstances that led to her following in the footsteps of her former school counselor.
I think that I am so lucky that I got to replace somebody as amazing as Mr. Slocum. Walking in his shoes is not easy, so I'm really not trying because I don't know that anyone could. And I think, if anything, having him as a counselor taught me the importance of being a school counselor and the impact that you can make for years and years to come, even after high school. He still calls me to check in and make sure everything's going well. I feel really lucky and really fortunate because that's not typical, and to have that kind of relationship with somebody and somebody that just is so passionate about the career really is a life lesson to me, and a wonderful mentor, I think, for me to follow up and be able to do that hopefully for somebody else one day.
Before coming to Lenape, Mrs. Cappello worked as a teacher and is still a mental health therapist while taking the counselor position at Lenape.
I was a teacher prior, but I'm also a therapist when I'm not at Lenape. So working in the high school, it's different because I see over 200 kids. I can see so many in a day. There's so many different needs that need to be addressed, and check-in points that need to be made. As a teacher, I followed an exact curriculum that we would go through, and there was a definite way that you would start a lesson and end a lesson, and there was a little bit more structure. As a counselor, you come in and you think your day will end up one way, and you don't expect what is going to happen on a day-to-day basis. So there's not that structure, there's not an absolute beginning and ending. You never really know what the day will bring, and you just have to kind of be ready to roll with all sorts of different problems or interventions or just ways to assist students.
Though she's been here a short time, Mrs. Cappello has already made many connections with the students, and she feels like an active member in the Lenape family. For Lenape Tribal News, this is Gabrielle Turgeon.